What's up, everybody? Jeff C here, back with another Pages and Pathway book review. Man, this is the third day that I've been wanting to do this, but let's see, the first day I was actually on call from work, so I was hoping I wouldn't get called in, and I ended up getting called in, so that was all right. And then I was gonna try to come yesterday, but it was raining its ass off, so just ended up doing a little bike ride at the house. That was all good. Today I'm gonna be talking about a book that I just recently finished last week, and man, I love this book. We're talking about Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I think I can honestly say that this is probably has the greatest ratio of simplicity of the actual story that's being told compared to just the way it is written. I mean, it's James Baldwin just as an author he's just insane. It is so awesome, some of the stuff, and I'm gonna put I have a few annotations that I kind of singled out that I recorded in my vehicle just a little while ago because I didn't want to be walking around with the book in my hand. And so, yeah, I'll put a few examples of what I'm really saying here shortly. This is Baldwin's second novel. I think it was written in 1952. You know, and if you're not really familiar with James Baldwin, I mean, he was around in a time where he just had a lot of things that could definitely be used against him by a lot of people in society, unfortunately. You know, he was a black man, he was homosexual, and just, you know, in his prime in the 50s in America, which, you know, you don't have to be a history major to know that that was definitely a problematic era. All that though, he still produced some of the best work I've ever encountered, and not only just as an author. Honestly, if you're not familiar with James Baldwin, I would say just look him up on YouTube. Some of his interviews are just insane. The way he talks is so awesome, man. It's inspiring. It makes me want to be a better communicator. So yeah, give that a shot. You know, look him up. Just look up James Baldwin interview and just anything he talks about. It's awesome. All right, so like I said, Giovanni's Room is a very simple story. Basically, you have a guy named David, born in New York, goes to Paris, finds love with a woman. That woman decides before, I guess, she settles, she needs to embark on a little mind-clearing escapade or whatever. She goes to Spain without David, and while that's happening, David kind of gets involved with some folks in the gay scene in Paris. There's like a prominent elder, and then there's a guy named Giovanni who's a bartender at the elder's bar and highly sought after by others, and him and Giovanni and David end up, you know, in a romance. This all happens, you know, Giovanni's room, which is basically a closet. I kept imagining Harry Potter's little room under the staircase, but I think it might have been slightly bigger than that, but still could almost be seen as like a prison cell allegory. And then, you know, long story short is not even long story, I guess it's a short story. Giovanni gets in some trouble, and that happens, and then David also, his lady returns from Spain, and what happens between them happens between them. I won't say exactly. You know, what you really have here in this story is David's battle between him wrestling, like, what does he want to be, what everybody thinks he wants to be, especially the way his father wants him to be. And right now I'm gonna insert a little clip of me reading something that kind of was him describing the way him and his father interact. So I'll put that here now. We were not like father and son. My father sometimes proudly said we were like buddies. I think my father sometimes actually believed this. I never did. I did not want to be his buddy. I wanted to be his son. What passed between us as masculine candor exhausted and appalled me. Fathers ought to avoid utter nakedness before their sons. I did not want to know, not anyway from his mouth, that his flesh was unregenerate as my own. The knowledge did not make me feel more like his son or buddy. It only made me feel like an interloper, and a frightened one at that. He thought we were alike. I did not want to think so. I did not want to think that my life would be like his, or that my mind would ever grow so pale, so without hard places and sharp, sheer drops. I won't lie, that little quote hit me pretty hard, man, especially without getting too personal, the way that I kind of view the relationship I had with my own father. Another thing I want to kind of show here is, there's I think I was introduced to the idea of NPC, non-player characters. Been a few years, but I'm sure, I'm not anything special, so I'm sure it's been around for a long time as far as that verbiage. But, this, again, 1952, and James Baldwin just writes about what we would just see as like an NPC, a literal shop owner in a city like Paris. And he wrote an entire paragraph just explaining this person, which now we just say, yeah, NPC, a shop owner in a little video game. So I'll put that now, me reading that paragraph of him describing this lady. Behind the counter sat one of those absolutely inimitable and indomitable ladies, produced only in the city of Paris, but produced there in great numbers, who would be as outrageous and unsettling in any other city as a mermaid on a mountaintop. All over Paris, they sit behind their counters like a mother bird in a nest and brood over the cash register as though it were an egg. Nothing occurring under the circle of heaven where they sit escapes their eye. If they have ever been surprised by anything, it was only in a dream they long ago ceased having. They are neither ill nor good-natured, though they have their days and styles, and they know, in the way apparently that other people know when they have to go to the bathroom, everything about everyone who enters their domain. Though some are white-haired and some not, some fat, some thin, some grandmothers and some but lately virgins, they all have exactly the same shrewd, vacant, and all-registering eye. It is difficult to believe that they ever cried for milk or looked at the sun. It seems they must have come into the world hungry for banknotes and squinting helplessly, unable to focus their eyes until they came to rest on a cash register. And so that's another example of his writing style. It's just, I don't know, man. I just love this book. I'm going to read more of James Baldwin's works. I had a friend recommend If Beale Street Could Talk. There's Go Tell It on the Mountain, Notes of a Native Son. And I do have a collection of like essays that he's written, and I've read a few of those, and just everything is 5-star. Speaking of which, I gave Giovanni's Room 4.5 stars on Fable, 5 stars on Goodreads. I would love it if you would follow me on those things. I'd love to interact with you there. Have you read Giovanni's Room? What'd you think of it? Please put down in the comments your thoughts on that work, and what do you think I should read? What else do you think I should read by Baldwin? I do have Notes of a Native Son, so I'll probably read that next. Not like the next book I'm gonna read, but soon. I definitely think that Baldwin's work was so important on many levels, you know, in helping move people's thoughts about certain situations in this country in a positive direction. And so I think it's very important to lift up his work and to make sure that it is being read by not only this generation but future generations. So if you haven't read anything by James Baldwin, please pick something up, you know, and check it out. And just, even if you don't necessarily aren't a big reader, just like I said earlier, look him up on YouTube. Just look up some interviews that he's done. There's a lot on YouTube, so you owe it to yourself to check it out. It's really good. So again, thank you guys for watching. I'll be posting another diet update probably tomorrow. I typically upload those on Saturday. Everything's going good this week. And so, yeah. Again, follow me here, like and subscribe the video, or like the video, subscribe to the channel. It is kind of funny how, like, this book to me, like, again, I said it's the widest margin from like the simplicity of the underlying story to the depth at which it is told. And now I'm reading a book that's like, literally, I read the 3rd chapter in this book I'm reading now, and I was like, this might be the most boring chapter of a book I've ever read in my life. And it's slowly changing into a really good book. And I even had to go look online, and people are like, oh, wait till the last 100 pages. It's only 250-page long book. I don't want to say what it is, but it'll be the next review I post. But it's just wild. It's like, okay, well, who knows? Maybe I'll have the widest range of emotions of how I felt about a book, from hating it to really enjoying it with this current read. So we'll see. So again, please stay tuned for that coming up soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.